Hey, welcome to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast, a member of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I have been waiting to kind of launch this 10-episode series. That's why I've been kind of away for about a week and a half. But the first thing I'm going to do is talk about ResidencyHelp.com, where I've kind of put all of these resources for you. So first things first, if you want one-on-one professional editing of your letter of intent, I am doing it for the residency season, $75 one-time fee, and I will help you with your first letter and then 2 additional letters so you can kind of understand the things that you need to move around and the things that you need to do especially if you're going to do like 10 or 11 or 12 letters. And also talk a little bit about how it fits into recommendations as well, and I'll talk about that in a second. So if you want letter of intent one-on-one help, email me at aaguerra@dmac.edu. That's dmacc.edu, or hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm Tony, PHARMD, Tony Farm D. All right, so let's look at the website. First thing, of course, the letter of intent. As I'm working with you, you want to use my template, and my template is not the way that the UCSF template is or the ACCP template, where they've given you an entire letter and they've filled in all of the words. And the problem with that is that so many people are using those templates that immediately, it's so easy to see, immediately somebody who reads these letters is going to know that you used it. And they're going to think of you as not innovative, or at worst, they're going to think plagiarism and immediately discount all of the 8 years of work that you've done in one single glance. So please use my template, which is more of a here's where you put things and here's what you should put here, rather than here are the words to use. I have a DocX and PDF version. You really should listen to the book. It's a whole hour explaining how to use the residency letter of intent, but I've also got a YouTube video there as well. Second is to use the rubric and have someone else grade it. I have an Excel file that you can use. And when I grade these and someone comes in and says, I'm interested in kind of seeing where I'm at, and I give them this grade, and usually they're kind of shocked. And I in the video, unfortunately, I put it out of 200 and I changed it to 100 because it didn't get the message across that their letter is completely missing the mark. And so many times I'm seeing over and over again, this is why I wanted to go to pharmacy school. Okay, well, that's in the backstory. Okay, so if you think of a story as the iceberg, you're only giving in this letter the tip of the iceberg. You are not giving. Back when I was in chemistry class, I had a chemistry teacher that got me interested in pharmacy. They get you interested in pharmacy. You did a whole degree, and now you're going to residency. You need to tell them and give them evidence why in the 5 domains of clinical, leadership, research, teaching, and service that you are a great match for their program. And you might use only 2 or 3 of those 5, but those better match that program, because I am seeing letters of intent that are just not showing all of the work that these people have done. And when I go to their CV and compare it, I'm like, well, where is all of this? It's like, oh, I didn't know I should put that in there. Letter of intent, so important to get the message across of how hard a worker you are and that you are a great match. Third thing is those recommendations. You have so much control over how those recommendations can be better. The most important part of the recommendation is the very last question that we have to answer as recommenders, which basically says, how does the person measure to this site? It is not auto-populated. If I'm going to do 12 recommendations for someone, I have to do 12 individual paragraphs, and that's a lot of work. And I might get it wrong. And the last thing you want is me saying, yeah, I think they'd be great for an acute care residency, but you're applying to an AmCare. Or, yeah, they've always told me they're interested in pediatrics, only to find out that they've got kind of a backup residency that's more of a AmCare or a different type. So You've got to, as you're creating your letters of intent, make sure you understand what trade-offs you're making and make sure you communicate those trade-offs to the recommender. It's a lot more than just, hey, will you write me a recommendation? Every single site that you have better have a little blurb or paragraph for your recommender so they can follow along and figure out, hey, why is this person applying to 6 acute care and then all of a sudden they have 3 AmCare and then a community? What's going on? Are they just happy with any residency? You need to make clear why this makes sense as you're doing it. And I know this has been a little bit confusing that I have 252 episodes, of the Pharmacy Residency podcast. And so what I'm going to do is create a 10-episode series, especially for this mid-year coming up. And I'm going to start cranking out those episodes. Many of them are YouTube videos that I've done, but I realize that a lot of you are not on my Tony PharmD channel or subscribe. So I've put a link on ResidencyHelp.com where you can get to, oops, I got to refresh it. I just fixed it. Where you can get to the YouTube playlist, where I have right now 11 videos, but I'm going to have many more. And you can get right to my Tony PharmD channel and then subscribe and hit the bell so that you can get updated as soon as those videos come out. So, last thing, I just wanted to let you know that here is the list of future episodes. Episodes 253 is going to be this one, talking about the playlist, and ResidencyHelp.com is the place to go to get some free resources and then figure out how to, contact me if you want one-on-one help. Episodes, and I'm going to call it Pharm Res Prep, episode 1 is going to be episode 18, where I talk to Brandon Dyson of TLDR Pharmacy, and episode 26, where I also talk to him about residency interview questions. Those seem to be the ones that many people are very anxious about. Episode 3 is going to be Pharmacy Residency Letter of Intent, your first revision, finding your way. So many people are getting stuck on that first paragraph, and the first paragraph is the last paragraph you write. You write your clinical experience, your leadership, your research, your teaching, and your service experience. Then you write that first paragraph, not the other way around. Episode 4, projecting the number of applicants. I think it's going to be 8,000 for 4,000 positions. Number 5, increasing your odds. Number 6, forecast advice. Number 7, is ASHP mid-year worth it? Even if you are going or not going, I kind of tell you what you should have done if you went, and then what you can do if you don't. And then the 2 questions that you really have to have answers to before you even think about going to mid-year or talking to other people about residency, especially at those events that are in the evening. For example, I'll be going to the Iowa reception, the Maryland reception, and maybe even the IT reception. Those guys are just cool. So pharmacy residency interview question number 1, I answer, why do you want to do a residency? And interview question number 2, how to answer, why do you want to do a residency here? And then I had a great interview with somebody who has made sleep and pillows, of all things, a really, really important part of, how do you get a good night's sleep? Because you're going to be trying to figure that out as you not only apply, but as you're a resident. And while I'm not getting any money from his pillows, I just found that he had a lot of good information. And a book that I had read, Atomic Habits, talked about the British cycling team and how they changed everything, and they made sure to have every single little thing that they could work on a little bit better, and getting a good night's sleep, I thought, was part of it. So what a great way to finish it out. So watch out, 10 episodes are coming rapid fire to you from the Pharmacy Residency podcast. As always, hook up with me on LinkedIn, Tony PharmD, or AAGUERRA at dmacc.edu if you want to get in touch with me.